IEBC has filed a response to the presidential election petitions that will be heard next week. They presented the election result forms and other documents in their defense of the repeat election, which the commission maintains was above board. Meanwhile, in another case, President Uhuru Kenyatta has termed a suit challenging his re-election on October 26th an abuse of court process. Kenyatta, while responding to the case filed by activist Okiya Omtatah, wants it struck out since he challenged the validity of the election even before the results had been declared. We'll have pictures and sound from that story in a little while. 28 children from Teso North in Busia County who are paralyzed because of medical negligence at Akichelessit dispensary 2 years ago will be compensated. And TV's Rose Wangoi with more.
The decision to compensate the affected children and the family of a Siopot woman who died after she developed complications in the process of giving birth was reached after a heated debate on a motion moved by Malaba South Ward MCA David Kokonya. The children developed weak limbs after an injection at the Akichelessit Health Facility in Teso North, Busia County, and could barely walk. The children had partial paralysis arising from injection treatment given in the 6 months between December 2014 and June 2015, though those with severe paralysis reported initial complaints after treatment in 2013. This prompted them to be transferred to Nairobi Hospital for treatment. While moving the motion, Kokonya said the two incidents affected the socio-economic abilities of the 28 children and their families.
It is the responsibility of both governments, the county and the national governments, to ensure that these people are fully compensated so that they can carry on with their lives in those states they are without a lot of difficulties as we are aware they are facing. Also, compensation for the lost life is not enough, but I'm sure it will give hope to the rest of the family members.
Some are affected, even their backbone, they cannot wake up. Some of the children are mentally affected, and all of them cannot move. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I raise to support the motion.
These are members of the public who are equally subjected to the Constitution. And as an institution and leadership, it's our duty to protect the rights.
Parents say the children aged between 2 and 11 years experience serious difficulties standing or walking. Some of the children have dropped out of school due to sores and severe pain in their legs, while others are forced to skip classes to honor weekly visits to hospitals. Rozongoi, NTV.
Back to a top story, IEBC has filed a response to the presidential election petitions that will be heard next week. They presented the election result forms and other documents in their defense of the repeat election, which the commission maintains was above board. Meanwhile, in another case, President Uhuru Kenyatta has termed a suit challenging his re-election on October 26th an abuse of court process. Kenyatta, while responding to the case filed by activist Okiya Omtatah, wants it struck out since he challenged the validity of the election even before the results had been declared.
For the second time this year, the IEBC filed at the Supreme Court Registry volumes of documents responding to the petitions challenging the repeat presidential election of October 26th. Among them, election result forms and other documents to counter charges against their conduct of the repeat election.
We are ready to go. We are ready for the petition.
There were concerns, however, about how the documents would be secured. In the last presidential petition, IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba alleged that the judges who nullified the August 8th election relied on forged documents as they were a sharp contrast to the ones the IEBC presented to the court.
What the advocate for IEBC and the president were asking is that we agree in some Kenyaji way that this matter, the filings be kept under lock and key in a strong room, they were calling, without describing whether the strong room is where each party comes with a padlock and puts there, or the court has a strong room somewhere. even if we put them in some place called a secure place, when the court has access and the parties don't, I wonder what that really is.
The documents are supposed to be deposited with the court. We have deposited with the court the documents. We had made a suggestion to the court. The court says it knows what to do. And I think that is the best thing to leave it at.
The IEBC has responded to specific allegations made by former Kilome MP Harun Mwau and rights activist Njonjo Mue and Khelef Khalifa of Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu civil society group. Mwau, in his petition, claims the IEBC violated the constitution by failing to subject the 8 presidential candidates to fresh nominations. In their petition, Njonjo Mue and Khelef Khalifa argued that the IEBC did not conduct the fresh election in strict conformity with the constitution and the applicable laws. They also accused the electoral body of disregarding the directives of the Supreme Court when the judges nullified the August 8th presidential election. The IEBC and President Uhuru Kenyatta have also filed responses to another application filed by activist Okiya Omtatah, also challenging the validity of the election of October 26th. They want it dismissed. Omtatah argued that the poll was invalid because no fresh nominations were held by the IEBC. Further, the pullout by NASA created a crisis which required the Supreme Court to clarify the law and pronounce itself on the validity of the fresh presidential election. In response, however, Kenyatta termed the case an abuse of court processes, saying the challenge on the validity of the fresh election could not be tried in court because the petitioner moved to court on the 27th even before a president-elect had been declared. The IEBC, in its response, argued that the election was conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable laws. Further, any petition challenging a presidential election should have been filed 7 days after the date of declaration of results. The Commission supports the President's argument that the petitioner went to court before the election was held and therefore cannot challenge its outcome. Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu will now put together a bench to hear this application. Sheila Sendeo, NTV.